Ambassador John Bolton, who served as Donald Trump's former national security advisor. Ambassador, I wonder what you make of what you heard from President Biden there on what he does believe is at stake, which is something you've also warned about of if Trump does return to power.
Well, there's a substantive question about what's wrong with Donald Trump, but there are questions about each candidate's capacity to do the job. And my view has been for some time, neither one of them has the capacity to do the job. So why does Trump want Biden to be his opponent? Because he's got him right in his sights, and this press conference tonight is proof of his case that Biden is not up to it. Look, he was asked a question about Russia-China relations and how that affects the United States. Went on and on and on. It was incoherent. He was asked a question about American military aid to Ukraine and restrictions placed on that aid in terms of targeting Russia. It was incoherent. He talked about holding corporate rent increases at 5%. I don't even know what that subject was. He was asked why he picked Kamala Harris to be his vice president. Was she qualified? And his answer was, I wouldn't have picked her if she wasn't qualified. He was asked if he could still speak with Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin in 3 years, and he said, I can speak with them now and I can speak with them then. Those aren't answers. Those are the questions without question marks. And this goes on and on and on.
Well, that was kind of his style in the sense of saying, yeah, I can deal with them now, I can deal with them
but
then.
He didn't give answers to the questions.
He gave a pretty lengthy answer to about Israel and Gaza, to kind of making the case in a real way that I haven't seen him make so far, in this earnest of a way for a two-state solution. But on the sense
but it was almost totally critical of Israel.
That's his prerogative. That doesn't mean he couldn't give a coherent answer just because that's his view of it.
Is that reflective of his ironclad support of Israel?
Well, I think that's a question on his policy when it comes to Israel. We've seen how that's changed as Netanyahu has waged his war.
It was not a balanced answer.
Yeah,
it was
I don't expect
Israel.
you to agree with President Biden's foreign policy in any way, shape, or form. But on that sense of Donald Trump and his allies, I was watching them reposting things on Twitter saying Biden was doing a great job, that it's proof he can stay in this race. It's kind of remarkable to see them praising him so much, saying that, because they are worried about Biden getting out and maybe having a more formidable opponent for Donald Trump.
They are absolutely worried about that, and they should be. Look, I think Biden's presidency ended a few hours ago. I don't know whether he's going to be the Democratic nominee or not, but that performance is the kind of thing that now for 2 weeks since the debate, the constant subject has been, does Biden have the mental acuity to do the job? Shall we talk about that for the next 4 months? Is that conducive to his campaign? Are these Democrats who have come out publicly worried about their election prospects because of Biden completely off base? Forget the polling. Politics is about instinct, too. And their instincts are they're very nervous. But even beyond all that, with all due respect to the media, the presidency is not about press conferences. The presidency is about making life and death decisions for this country under conditions of high stress, with inadequate, inconsistent, constantly changing information, trying to steer a course through it. I don't think Biden can do that. Let be clear. I don't think Trump can do it either. That's why the country is in trouble with this choice of candidates.
Yeah, you're writing someone in. But do you believe if a Democrat who's been talked about as a potential replacement, if he got out of the race, which he said tonight he's not, do you think another Democrat could beat Donald Trump?
I think the change in the dynamic of the political environment of having somebody who's not in the plus 70 age category, which I could say because I am too, having a younger candidate would throw the dynamics of this campaign completely up in the air.
And how do you think Trump would handle that?
I don't think he'd handle it very well because I don't think he's been planning for somebody other than Joe Biden. You know, in 1960, Dwight Eisenhower was leaving the presidency and had 2 heart attacks at the ripe old age of 70. And the Democratic response in John Kennedy was a candidate with vigor. Now they're presenting Joe Biden. So, you know, if that's the way they want to go, it's up to the Democratic Party. Lord knows they're not going to take my advice. But I think shifting candidates now, it will be difficult. There will be problems. But it will completely change the nature of the race.